Hi everyone, and welcome to Stockbridge Community Television. So Steve asked me the other day how my tomatoes were doing and whether or not we were ready to check in with some tomato slices with olive oil drench and some basil and mozzarella cheese and all that business. And I said, Steve, no. I said, even though it is the middle of July, I got a slightly late start this year on my bucket tomatoes. But I figured it is a good chance to check in. We haven't talked in a while, and I could show off where I'm at with them. I got a couple of them right here that we transplanted probably 3-4 weeks ago. These I got from Ed Ackley. I get a lot from him every year, and you can see the tomatoes are coming in. They're a little green still, obviously, but they're coming in big numbers. We've got a lot of flowers up here. But since Steve asked about them, we might as well do a little routine maintenance today, and I can share that with you. And if you're out there in Stockbridge and you have tips for me too, I'm sort of learning this as I go, but we're doing pretty well so far. But Maureen tells me that, because I love the flowers, to me a flower is a tomato, she says too many flowers means you're taking nutrients away from the other ones. So I'm like, but Maureen, I mean, think of all those beautiful tomatoes. But we're going to try it. We're going to dust a few of these beautiful flowers off because Maureen says it'll make the survivors that much bigger and sweeter and tastier. So right up here, I'm going to sacrifice a few for the benefit of the overall good. And we'll take some of these flowers out and leave less. We'll take out 4 of them and leave the rest in this little bundle of tomatoes here. And I'll let you know, see, I'm using my fingies there. I'm trying not to damage below where I snip it with my nail. So we took those out a la Maureen and see how that works. Some of the other things we can do since we're checking in, they're not ready for our salad yet, but you see down here we've got a few dead branches, the yellow, and so we'll take those off too. And also today we're going to restake these because this stake that we started with is no longer long enough. And what I'm hoping is that by the time I get, and this is an old Big Bunny bag by the way, I find these are better. They're less damaging, I think, to the stem of the tomato, so I use them. This guy's pretty firm on his own right. Let's get rid of this stake, though, see what happens. Whoa, look at him go. Wait a minute, let me get the other one first. I have this longer stake now that I'm going to use to replace that one. And then, so this one will accommodate the greater growth of my beautiful tomato. But before I take this one out, let me put this one in. And I put the pointy end down, and I'm going to kind of twist it because there's a root system in place. And you can damage a few of them. It's not going to do much damage. Now I can get rid of this. The same tie I had before. I'm higher up now. I'm taking these 2 here and bunching them together against the stake. And gently. And along these stems here, right in there, there's little fuzzy things. If you've ever worked tomatoes, you've seen them. You know, if you brush against them, they smell so good. Those things are really critical little life forces, and they'll turn into anything on that tomato, and I try to be gentle with them. So now we're higher stake, and you can see we'll be able to go up. And later on, as it gets even bigger and taller than me by the end of September, we'll be staking them up here, and hopefully it'll go straight up. We'll do the same thing here. Take this guy, put him in. I got pointy end down? Yeah, I do. And a little twisty so I don't do too much roots. Undo this one without damaging my tomato. Uh-oh. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, sure I can. Yeah, and so we unstring him. And he served us well for 4 weeks in that spot. But he also has to come higher up and support a bigger tomato now. So we'll take these 2 strings here, these 2 big, tall branches here, and combine them like that. Now, a tomato will find its own natural inclination toward the sun. And when I do this, and when I scrunch them together like that, and hold them captive with my tie, I'm changing their direction. They're no longer pointing the way they were, which was into the sun. But believe me, folks, they'll bounce back. They'll find the sun soon enough and be pointing in the right direction, and no foul done. Now, we talked about the dead ones. Now that we've restaked it, let's pull some of these off. These have the orange. I just go right against the grain here and they pop right off to minimize any damage to the stalk. Down here, we don't need him anymore. And also, as John Reardon would say, you need to get rid of suckers in the middle. See this plant right here? This one right here is in between these two stalks. And so John says pull them out. And there it goes. You don't need those either. They pull away nutrients from this guy. So there you go. We've done a little maintenance on our tomatoes that mid-July right now in Southbridge. And I know there's other folks out there that grow tomatoes. I use garden soil that I bought, and I've been putting Miracle Grow and Epsom salt, which I found the actual unflavored Epsom salt down at Big Bunny. And I put a dilute of that and I water it a lot. As you can see here, I think drainage is important for tomatoes. You go to the bottom of my beauty here, and you can see how many holes I put in to drain. I drilled those in early on. I put probably 30, 40 holes there, because I want, and on the side too, because I want my water moving through and not growing stagnant. Because tomatoes like that. They like a lot of water, and I think they like a lot of air too. One other thing I want to show you, since we're checking in on the tomatoes, I bought this online, these seeds. I grew them from seed, and this is a tiny little variety of tomato, believe it or not. These two little plants are tomatoes. And if you see in here, these little baby tomatoes on there, these things, according to the internet, are not going to get any bigger than a blueberry. So they're going to be very, very small. As the plant is, there's some more on the side. And I can't wait to try those. I hope I get a bunch of them. I have more at home too. And I just bought them because I wanted to try something different. Well, folks, there's one more. Let's get this guy off. We don't need no yellow. Folks, that's it. My beauties. I've got a few more at home. I got plenty for mozzarella salad with a drizzle of olive oil and the basil and all that business. But that's later on down the line. So what we're going to do now is continue to water our tomatoes, and we'll check back in a month and a half when it's time to harvest, and we'll eat a few too. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you next time. Hey girl, how we doing? You? I like to talk to my tomatoes.